Kilian, brother, if you are hearing this, then the Voxcaster on my command Salamander finally gave up the ghost, and some poor tech adept is sorting through the static. Or you're dead, and this is swirling in the warp with your soul. Or, stars forbid, you're on the other side of the line, and this is enemy intelligence. I don't know. I don't care anymore. I need to talk to you. To the you I remember. The you who stole Father's staff car when we were 16. The you who argued strategy with me over stale rations, drawing maps in the dust. That you. They told us the War Master turned. Horus Lupercal, the brightest star. It felt like a physical blow, like the sky had declared gravity optional. The initial reports were chaos literal and metaphorical. Some said it was a lie, an Alpha Legion ploy. Some said it was the Emperor's final, ruthless test of loyalty. We, the 33rd Perennian Lancers, were mustering for a compliance action on the fringe. Suddenly, the orders stopped making sense. Then new orders came, from a source that identified itself as War Master's command. Istvan V, they promised. Clarity, a new order. An end to the bureaucratic strangulation of terror. They sounded reasonable. You always were the reasonable one. I got a separate, heavily encrypted burst. A personal seal I hadn't seen since the academy. Yours, 2 words. Stand fast. That was all. No explanation, no plea, a command. The only order in a universe of screaming contradictions that made any sense to me. So I stood fast. I declared the 33rd for the Emperor. I purged my command staff of officers who looked a little too interested in the new order. I shot Major Orlok myself when he tried to rally the armor column to hear the War Master's terms. I remember the look on his face, not betrayal, pity, as if I were a child clinging to a broken toy. Now we are besieged. Our supposed compliance world has become a prison. The local populace, who knelt to the Ultramarines a decade ago, has risen in frenzy, worshipping a 8-pointed star daubed in blood. They are led by things that wear the Aquila, but their armor is rust and blasphemy. They are what we were, twisted into a mockery, and they are winning. I am recording this from a bunker that stinks of promethium and fear. My lancers are down to a quarter strength. We are not heroes. We are a stubborn stain on the War Master's new map. I hold this line because of 2 words from a brother who may already be dead, or worse. Is that loyalty? Or is it just the last, fragile thread of my own sanity? Ferrin, you obstinate, idealistic fool. Stand fast. Did you ever think beyond the slogan? Stand fast for what? The distant silent corpse on a golden throne. The labyrinth of terror's bureaucrats who see us as numbers on a tithe slate. The Imperium is a corpse, Farron. It just hasn't stopped twitching yet. I saw it before Istvan. I was attached to a Legio quartermaster's office. You have no idea. The waste, the arrogance. Worlds bled dry to feed the palace's opulence. Promethium shipments diverted for some High Lord's private pleasure yacht, while frontline armies stalled for want of fuel. The crusade was built on a lie of unity, but the engine was greed, nepotism, and a stagnation that would make a swamp look brisk. When the War Master spoke, he didn't offer a rebellion. He offered a diagnosis and a cure. The cure is harsh. It is fire. But the disease is terminal. Would you not burn out a cancer? My defection wasn't a grand moment of treason. It was a logistical reassignment. The orders came from my immediate superior, who got them from his, who got them from a new chain of command that bypassed terror entirely. It was efficient, clean. I followed orders, as I always had. The only difference was the insignia on the communiques, the Aquila with a star above it. It felt progressive. Now I command a cohort of the Iron Warriors. Yes, the Siege Masters. You'd hate them. They have no poetry, no grand speeches. They have calculations. They look at your bunker, Farron, and they don't see defiance. They see load-bearing walls, stress points, mineral density of the rock, and the exact amount of melter charge required to turn it all into a sinkhole. They are dismantling the Imperium with the same methodical, dispassionate skill with which they built it. There is a terrible honesty in it. I sent that stand-fast burst because I knew you would. It's who you are. Your stubbornness is a tactical variable I could account for. It gives your position a predictable center of gravity. For that, brother, I am sorry and grateful. We lost the Western Ridge today. Not to the Iron Warriors, to our own. A squad of Emperor's children. They don't fight. They perform. They came through the trenches with sonic weapons that didn't just kill. They unraveled men. I saw Lieutenant Corso clutching his ears, then his eyes, then his own face, peeling it away in strips before he fell. The noise, it was beautiful. That's the worst part. Some deep animal core of my brain found a pattern in the screaming distortion and called it beautiful. That's their weapon. They make damnation aesthetically compelling. Is this your cure, Killian? This artistry of agony? The Iron Warriors, I understand. They are a hammer. But these are a poison. A sweet, singing poison. Your new allies are monsters. I killed a traitor today. Not an Astartes, one of the mortal cultists, a young woman, her face painted with that damned star. She charged my position with a makeshift bomb. I shot her, a clean lost shot to the chest. She fell, and as she died, she looked past me, at the sky, and smiled. A smile of pure, transcendent joy. What promise did they make her that dying for it is a cause for joy? What have we become that our death is a duty and theirs is a gift? The Emperor's children are a complication, a side effect of the cure. You cannot unleash the forces needed to break a galactic empire without spillage. Fulgrim's Legion has always pursued excess. Now they have been unshackled from even the pretense of morality. They are a weapon we aim, not comrades we break rations with. I do not begrudge you your hatred of them. I share it from a safer distance. But do not confuse the symptom for the disease. Farron, their madness is a concentrated, visible form of the quiet, sanctioned madness of the old Imperium. Was the servitor created in a factorum, its mind wiped and body grafted with tools for efficiency, any less a victim of excess? Was the planetary governor who feasted while his hive starved any less decadent? The children just make the horror obvious. They are the Imperium's ID, dressed in purple and gold. As for the girls' smile, they promise them freedom. Freedom from the imperial truth that denied their souls. Freedom to feel, to experience, to be without limits. It is a lie, of course. It leads only to the ultimate, self-annihilating experience. But to someone who has only ever known the grind of imperial life, the ration quotas, the fear of the Arbites, the empty prayers to a distant god Divan, that false freedom can seem like a sunrise. You offer them a grim, dutiful death. They offer an ecstatic one. It is a potent recruitment tool. We are alone. The last astropathic choir is dead, their minds burned out trying to pierce the warp storms. No one is coming. The sky is permanently stained with the hues of orbital debris and unnatural energies. This is no longer a war. It is an entombment. I had a dream last night. We were boys again, on the shores of Lake Meridian. You were trying to build a functional raft from scrap lumber. I was quoting outdated tactical manuals on naval engagements. We were both missing the point, which was to stay afloat. The raft sank, of course, We laughed until we choked on lake water. What is the point here, Kilian? What is the raft we're both trying to build while the galaxy drowns around us? Your side seeks to burn the old world. Mine seeks to preserve a corpse. Neither is a future. We are two sides of a coin that's been melted down for bullets. A strange thing happened today. A lone world eater broke through our collapsing lines. He was a maelstrom of brass and butchery, already missing an arm, a chain axe in the other. He didn't head for the command post. He stumbled into the field hospital. We heard the screams. By the time we got there, it was over. He was gone. He'd killed every wounded man and Medicae in the tent. Not strategically, not with rage. It was systematic. A chore, like pulling weeds. There was no joy in it, no hatred, just completion of a task. That, somehow, was more horrifying than the Emperor's children's revelry. Is that the freedom you chose? To become a task? A function in a machine of annihilation? The World Eaters are the logical endpoint of the Imperial war machine, Farron. The Imperium turned soldiers into tools. The nails just removed the last pretense of a man holding the tool. They are what the Emperor's crusade was always building towards. Pure, undistilled, mindless violence. Angron is just a more honest version of the Emperor. Both see humanity as a means to an end. The Emperor's end was a silent, ordered galaxy. Angron's is a silent, red galaxy. The difference is one of aesthetic preference. You ask about the point. The raft. There is no raft, brother. The lake is acid, and the sky is fire. The point is to be the one who chooses the manner of the swimming. You choose to swim with the weight of a corpse on your back, because you were taught it was sacred. I choose to shed the weight, even if the water burns. My choice is not better, it is just lighter. I have seen the Death Guard now. They do not die, they persist. They are the ultimate testament to the old Imperium's dogma of endurance. Suffer not the alien to live, suffer any hardship for the Imperium. They took that literally. They endured so much they became endurance itself. A philosophical concept made rancid flesh. Mortarian sons are your loyalists, Farron, more than you are. They are the unwavering, unbreakable, unimaginative endurance you idolize, taken to its literal, hellish conclusion. They are your mirror. Stare into it. I am the last officer, the last vox set with power. They are in the walls now. I can hear them scrabbling in the ductwork. Not cultists, smaller things. Things with too many teeth and shadows for skin. The veil is thin here. Your allies have done more than break our walls. They have broken the walls of reality itself. I have one melter charge left. It is not for them. It is for the command, data core. The names of the 33rd, the coordinates of our mustering worlds, our families. I will not let those names become fodder for some demon's cruel games or your Iron Warrior's cold ledgers. I think I finally understand your choice, Kilian. Not the politics, not the cure, the sheer utter fucking exhaustion. The weight of the corpse is heavy. To let go, it must feel like flying, even if the flight is straight down into the inferno. I held fast. I am still fast. But there is nothing left to stand for. Just a principle, a ghost of an idea, and the memory of a brother on the other side of the mirror. If you find this, remember the raft, remember the lake. The water was clean then. The siege is over. Your position is silent. The Iron Warrior's surveyors report a contained Meltedep nation in the central bunker. No survivors, efficient, clean. A predictable end for a predictable man. I walked through the ruins today. The Iron Warriors were already hauling away salvageable plasteel, their warsmiths calculating the yield. I stood in what was left of your command center. I found a fused, twisted lump of metal ore that remains of a data core, your final act. I felt nothing, no triumph, no grief, a hollow correctness, like a mathematical equation finally solved. This was the necessary outcome. Your stubbornness demanded it. My calculus enabled it. And yet, I found a piece of shrapnel lodged in a wall, a fragment of a Perennian Lancer badge, the Silver Stag. I pocketed it. A variable the equation did not account for. They are transferring me. The campaign here is done. I am to join a compliance fleet moving forward. We will bring the cure to other stubborn, idealistic fools standing in the way of the new order. I will write the orders that will break their walls. I will calculate the means of their destruction. I will be good at it. But tonight, in the quiet of my quarters on the Iron Warriors battleship, I take out the Silver Stag. I look at it, and for a moment, I am not Commander Keelian, logistician of the War Master's New Dawn. I am a boy on a lake, failing to build a raft with his brother. You asked me what freedom I chose. I chose the freedom from the past. But the past, it seems, is the one thing you can never truly siege and conquer. It lingers in the rubble, in a smile of a dead fanatic, in the silent judgment of a melted data core, in a piece of silver shrapnel. You held fast, Farron. You held fast to the very thing I thought was worthless, a memory of something better. And in your stubborn, futile, glorious last stand, you have proven to me, and to me alone, that the thing we are burning down had a soul worth missing. The war is not loyalist versus traitor. That is just the banner. The war is memory versus ambition. It is stasis versus change. It is the weight of the past versus the allure of the fire. And we have both lost. You are dead, anchored to a sinking past. I am alive, adrift on a burning future. I will not send this recording. There is no one to send it to. You are gone. The brother I am speaking to is gone. I am talking to a ghost in a machine, and to the ghost of myself. This is Commander Keelian. There is no more to report. The schism is not in the stars, nor in the legions. It is in the liturgy. It is in the interpretation of a single, silent man's will. Before the heresy, we of the Dire A were historians, philologists, archivists of the imperial truth, the dry, academic order. Now, we are the last arbiters of a shattered orthodoxy. Our battlefield is the footnote, the subclause, the ambiguous glyph. The question is not who is loyal. The question is, to what are they loyal? Take the Ultramarines. Their loyalty is to the system, the Lex Ultramar, the Codex, the intricate, beautiful bureaucracy of empire that Robert Gilliman built as a monument to his father's dream. They are not loyal to the Emperor as a man or a god. They are loyal to the idea of the Imperium as a functioning, rational, self-perpetuating machine. When Horus rebelled, he did not just attack their father. He attacked the system, the logic, the very architecture of their reality. Their resistance is not passionate. It is architectural. They are rebuilding the bombed-out cathedral of civilization, brick by logical brick, even as the war rages around the construction site. Their loyalty is cold, clean, and terrifyingly durable. Now, consider the word bearers. Once, their loyalty was the hottest, the most fervent. They loved the Emperor not as a leader, but as a god. And when he spurned that love, when he humiliated Lorgar on Monarchia for his worship, that loyalty did not vanish. It inverted. It became the exact same fervor, directed at a new pantheon of gods who craved that worship. Their betrayal is the most profound, because it is a betrayal born of excessive loyalty. They are the spurned lover who now burns down the house to feel the warmth of the flames. They are still zealots. They have just changed scriptures. So, who is the true loyalist? The ultramarine, defending a system his god-emperor built but no longer leads? Or the word-bearer, whose very betrayal is a perverse act of devotional fidelity to the concept of divinity that the emperor rejected? The schism infects even the broken. The Iron Warriors are loyal to nothing but the grudge. They are the embittered craftsmen who built the castle, were never thanked, and now take savage pleasure in demonstrating its structural flaws with siege cannons. Their loyalty was to cold efficiency. The Imperium became inefficient, so they betray it, not for chaos, but to prove a point. Their war is a bitter, mathematical critique. The Salamanders, conversely, are loyal to the people, to the human souls of the Imperium. This is their flaw and their strength. They will disobey a direct order to save a single village. In the grand, brutal calculus of the heresy, this makes them ineffective, sentimental, but it also makes them the last, flickering torch of the Emperor's original, stated purpose, to protect humanity. Their loyalty is to the spirit, not the letter, of a law that has been utterly forgotten by everyone else. The Omnissiah is a lie, a comforting one. The Emperor was a powerful psyker, a geneticist of unparalleled skill, but he was not the machine god. The Martian treaty was a marriage of convenience. We gave him our forges. He gave us a theological fig leaf for our worship of the machine. The schism of Mars was not about loyalty to the Emperor. It was about the definition of knowledge. The fabricator General Kelbahal and his allies understood a terrible truth. The Emperor's imperial truth was a limitation. It forbade certain avenues of inquiry, certain technologies, certain intersections of flesh and circuitry. It was a vow of ignorance. The War Master offered forbidden knowledge, the keys to the Xenotech vaults, the principles of the warp drive that the Emperor kept locked away, the secrets of true artificial sentience. He offered progress, unshackled from superstition even, as he served darker superstitions. The irony is delicious. So, we who followed Kelbahar are not traitors. We are seismatics of the quest for knowledge. The loyalist Mechanicus on Mars, hiding in the caverns with the broken Felglaive, they are the true heretics. They cling to a partial truth, a limited understanding, and call it orthodoxy. They are librarians who burn books to preserve the index. My own work, you would call it damning. I have grafted the nervous system of a Xenos warp beast to a Titan's plasma reactor, using it as a living, psychic regulator. The machine sings now, a song that drives men mad. But what is madness but a new form of perception? The loyalists call it corruption. I call it expanded sensory input. The war between loyalist and traitor Mechanicus is a war between the curated past and the unspeakable future. Both have abandoned humanity. We have just chosen different altars upon which to sacrifice it. I painted the War Master once. Not from life, such an audience was beyond my station. From a picked capture taken at the victory muster on Ulanar, I focused on the eyes. Every artist knows the eyes are the conduit to the soul. In the pict they were unreadable, triumphant, yes, proud, but there was a distance. A man looking not at the cheering crowds, but at a horizon only he could see. My final assignment before the Istvan atrocity was to chronicle the warrior lodges, secret societies within the legions, fraternities of brotherhood outside the chain of command. The lunar wolves embraced them warmly. I thought it a charming quirky way to preserve camaraderie amidst the galaxy-spanning impersonal machinery of the Crusade. I was a fool. The lodges were the cancerous tissue where the schism first took root. It was in these darkened rooms, over cups of amasec and the ritual sharing of war trophies, that the first careful criticisms were voiced, not of the emperor, never directly, of the terror-based bureaucracy, of the unworthy being elevated, of the stagnation setting in. It was a grievance nursed into dogma in the dark. The true split between loyalist and traitor was not decided at Istvan. It was decided years earlier in 100 lodge meetings, when a sergeant clapped a brother on the shoulder and said, "We understand, they never will." That simple, poisonous pronoun, we, the creation of an us that is separate from and superior to them. The loyalists I met, like Captain Garviel Loken, were often those who disdained the lodges, who clung to the open, hierarchical structure of the Legion. They were not more moral. They were simply less intimate with the betrayal. Their loyalty was to the visible structure, not the invisible brotherhood festering within it. Now, I hide in the bilge decks of a ship whose name I dare not speak, writing this by the light of a malfunctioning lumen. The schism is here, in this vessel. You can feel it. The crew that still paints the old lunar wolves iconography in hidden corners. The new sons of Horus who seek out and purge them. It is a civil war within a civil war. A fractal of betrayal. The greatest tragedy. Both sides believe they are saving the Legion. The loyalists here, in the belly of the beast, believe they are saving its honor. The traitors believe they are saving its future. And in their fight to save it, they are tearing it apart from the inside. There are no clean hands. Only blood, and the fading memory of a time before the word brother became a weapon. You speak of legions, of demigods. My war is different. My war is in the void, and in the void, the schism is a simple, brutal matter of firing solutions. I served with the Thrommers Crusade, the Dark Angels and the Night Lords, loyalist and traitor. To me, from the bridge of my ship, they looked the same. Green armor versus blue-gray. Both were angels of death descending upon worlds. The difference was in the aftermath. The Dark Angels would bombard a city from orbit, then send in the Legion to secure the ruins. Methodical, complete. The Night Lords, they would broadcast the bombardment. They would let the population hear the screams of their neighbors for hours before the first lance struck. Their warfare was psychic, even without psychers. They weaponized dread. So, when the order came to turn my lances on the Night Lord's vessels, it was not a philosophical decision. It was a tactical relief. Finally, the monsters we had called allies were in our crosshairs. It felt clean. It was not clean. At the Battle of Sheol Reach, a Night Lord's cruiser, the Echo of Damnation, was dead in the water, its drives crippled. We moved in for the kill. Then, we intercepted their final, open vox-transmission. It was not a plea, it was a recitation, a list. Every world they had terrorized, every atrocity they had committed, but narrated in the flat, bureaucratic tone of an after-action report. And at the end, the captain's voice, stripped of all mockery, said, "You built us. You needed the terror. We were the sharp, dark tool in your bright crusades kit. And now you break the tool for being too sharp." The hypocrisy is the only thing left that surprises me. We fired. We killed them. We were loyal. But I have not slept well since. Because he was right. We did build them. The Imperium needed monsters for its dark work, and called them heroes until the moment they turned their fangs inward. The schism is not between good and evil. It is between the sanctioned monster and the rogue monster. And I, Jaren Tarquin, am just the gunman hired to shoot the family dog that finally bit the master's hand. The divide between loyalist and traitor is not a line. It is a spectrum of disillusionment. At one end, the ultramarines, disillusioned with the failure of the system but fighting to rebuild it. At the other, the word-bearers, disillusioned with the rejection of their faith and finding new gods to worship. In the middle, 1,000 shades of compromise and damnation. The Iron Hands, disillusioned with the weakness of the flesh, becoming the cold metal they worship. The Death Guard, disillusioned with the promise of endurance, becoming unending decay. The Emperor's children, disillusioned with the limits of perfection, shattering themselves, seeking the infinite. And the loyalists are no purer. Their loyalty is often to an abstraction, the Emperor's dream, not the complicated, tyrannical man. They fight for a ghost of an idea, while committing atrocities that would make that ghost weep. The traitors chose a path of conscious damnation, often for what they saw as righteous reasons: freedom, knowledge, progress, faith. The loyalists chose a path of unconscious damnation, damning themselves and the galaxy by clinging to a rotting edifice, all in the name of duty. In the end, the Great Schism proves one horrific truth about the universe. There is no choice that does not lead to damnation. You can only choose the flavor of your hell and the color of the armor you wear as you burn. The war is not loyalist versus traitor. It is one half of a broken mirror, screaming at the other half, blaming it for the crack.